All right, how we doing out there, Black Fang? How we doing? This your boy Ami, neighborhood ammo sexual. I'll give you a nice little review on the PSA's 15 round capacity magazine for the Glock 43x and also for the Glock 48. I own a Glock 43x. I absolutely love it. It's a little bit kicked in. I have tritium night sights and a Grey Ghost precision accurized barrel in it. So, you know, it's my EDC. It's what I carry every day. It's what I shoot pretty much once a week, sometimes twice a week. So I was asked by a friend at Black Fang to review the magazine. First of all, when you compare this the PSA 15 round capacity magazine for the Glock 43x, you have to notice a few things. The ABS plastic that they use is really tough, and the reason why, if you didn't know, that some companies like to do half plastic, half stainless steel, is because some people like to mark their magazines with an engraving tool, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that way you can track which magazines perform better on the range than others, which magazines hang up, which springs are kinking or getting bent, and which magazines you clean. So if you just got 5 random magazines and you start cleaning them, you kind of lose track. So when you're running and gunning on a range, on a kinetic range like MCTA, the dynamic is a little bit different than on a static range like at other places. So with the PSA 15 round magazine for the Glock 43x, the first things you'll notice that it has the round count, so you know. So that's actually a plus over other over, like, let's say the shield arms. They don't have a round count indicator. So that's one of the upsides to the PSA, the Palmetto State Armory product. Also, there's no, on the shield arms, there's no ABS plastic except for the bottom, at the bottom of the magazine. You could engrave that, you could put your numbers on that, or maybe some paint marker to keep track of how many you got. But it's so much easier to engrave where it's not going to be removed. So you could just put a 1 or 2 or 3 or how many magazines you have. So that's on the fit. So the fit of it. It went into the magazine great. Not a lot of play at the bottom, into the magazine well. Not a lot of, so I have a Glock 43x here. So not a lot of, once the magazine was inserted, there wasn't a lot of play. It's about 3 or 4 millimeters of play, which is acceptable for a kinetic or a static range. You don't want to have too much play in there because you're going to be moving. You might get down into the prone. You might shoot from the kneeling or behind something. You don't want your magazines to catch or to be able to move, because sometimes if you rest something on the bottom of the magazine, it'll shift the way the round feeds into the bore, and that's how you get your misfeeds and stuff like that. And also your malfunctions also can come from that. So on fit, great fit. The indentations that hold are just shaved in. They're not like the shield arms that are actually cut in, that are actually full cuts. So there's a difference there. I can tell you right now, fit and finish is awesome. Functionality, I give fit a 10. I give finish a 10 on the stainless steel. On the that's really good, easy to wipe off. You know, none of your oil, none of your gunk, none of your grime will stay. You can just wipe it down, boom, stow it, and you're good to go for the next time you go to the range or for your carry. Loading rounds into here, rounds into here was extremely difficult. I had to get Lucille. This is my old Lucille. I've had this thing for a long time, and I had to load it like that. And it's kind of embarrassing for an old infantry guy like me, old ammo sexual, to have to do it that way. But when they're brand new like that, that just kind of gives you an indicator on the quality of the spring that they're using. They're not using cheap steel. They're using good steel. So for the price point compared to the shield arms and compared to the 10 round capacity factory Glock magazines, I think you got a really good product with the PSA 15 round capacity magazine. It's built really well. The angle of the bottom of the magazine is a lot different than the bottom of the angle of the shield arms. It has a little bit of a different cant. Some people may not notice it, but I noticed it. That was the only issue that I had. So the pros, fit, finish, functionality, all 10 across the board. The only con that I had was I bloodied my thumb and my pointer finger on my left hand trying to push rounds in until I got Lucille and jammed it in there like that. The top of the magazine, if you look right here, this stainless steel isn't rolled. It's just flat. It's not sharp, but it's not sharp, if that makes sense. So while you're pushing magazines into, you got to be really careful, because those two little high points right there, like I said, they're not sharp, but they're not sharp. And it's a little bit different in the way that Shield Arms cut theirs. Is a little bit different. It's farther back, and the Shield Arms magazine feels more like an old Beretta 92 FS or 92F, where they're kind of like staggered in there, and they're just jammed in there, and they come out really well. But the Shield Arms is a lot easier to load by a margin. But that's not to say that the PSA one won't be easier to load after a few uses, after the spring says, okay, I know what you're trying to get me to do, so I'm going to do it for you. So overall, I give it a 10 out of 10 for fit, finish, and functionality, which is the way you should be rating your magazines. I know there's some other ways. I've heard some other interesting things, but you want to know if it fits well into the magazine well of the chosen weapon for the caliber that the magazine is created for. You want to know that it's finished well, because you don't want it hanging up on nothing when you try to pull it out of your magazine holder, out of your pocket, out of whatever EDC contraption that you're using. So you want it to be finished well, and you want it to function well. Fit, finish, functionality. PSA, Palmetto State Armory, 15 round capacity magazine with your round count indicator, your stainless steel, your ABS plastic. Awesome product. Hard to load in the beginning. Fits well into a Glock 43x. Really good product. I love it. With that, I say thank you to Black Fang and to the makers of the makers of the magazine themselves, Palmetto State Armory. Very good product. I enjoyed it. I wasn't able to take it out to a kinetic range. I took it to a static range, but still, you can still tell a lot about a magazine on a static range. On the kinetic range, you're gonna figure out everything. You're gonna figure out if a little bit of dirt is gonna kink that spring up, if a little bit of dirt's gonna cause feed jams. So with that being said, further testing may be necessary. All right, I'm gonna have me some vitamins, also called beer, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later.